I'll take a moment to take you through the session that I was asked to moderate. And it says, what next? Financial inclusion. FSDT is all about innovation. So we're trying to take financial inclusion to the next level. And innovation is all about new ideas. It's all about changing the processes to make it better for our customers. Booney, Kostek is talking about that all the time. Where do innovations come from? Where do they come from? It's all about challenging orthodoxies, overturn deeply and try to challenge what we normally do. It's all about harnessing trends, making sure that we understand how things work so that we can make them better. It's all about understanding customer needs, because innovation without solving a specific need, it becomes useless. If you innovate and nobody uses it, if it doesn't change someone's life, it's as good as nothing. We want to provide financial services to the poor people who actually gets it difficult to calculate. And we say, if you take a loan of 10,000, we'll charge you an interest of 20%. We don't understand the calculation on percentage. How do you expect us to actually understand your products and take it up? It's all about the barrier around how long I travel to get the financial services in my area. So I'm talking about people living in rural areas. I'm talking about the fact that you create banks branch that are so complicated for me to actually come into your branch. I feel like I need to put on a suit to come into a branch, and that's not a product for me. We're talking about mobile money with the fact that when I send money to someone, I need to have money in my wallet. And when I take my money, you charge me for taking my money in my wallet, and I compare that with my physical wallet. And then I'll take a step back and I'll say I'll use my cash. We're talking about insurance. We're talking about me paying premium every month, and then you tell me that you'll cover me when I get disaster. I'm like, seriously, I give you my money and I don't get it back? It doesn't work for me that way. We used to kibubus. We used to chama, whereby I put money in, but in a number of months I'll get it back. So how do we make sure that we provide financial services that answer to my needs, that respond to things that I am used to? And then we came up with this big thing called FinDisrupt, thanks to Miriam and Booney and those good guys that have worked with us in this initiative. This is all about innovation. It's all about customer-centric solution. It's all about listening to a customer, understanding their needs, and then build product and services to give them a solution that solves their problem. What next? Financial inclusion. I'll call upon Polycarp from Vodacom, financial inclusion. Can you tell us quickly, Polycarp, of what you're doing, what your organization is, what kind of projects are you doing, and how you see financial inclusion in the next few years?
Thank you very much. I'm Polycarp Dekana. I work with M-Pesa in Vodacom. I generally look after the product development and marketing and the strategic partnership of what M-Pesa is doing in Tanzania. In terms of financial inclusion, M-Pesa is doing a lot. We started up simply in 2014 with a small project called Empower. Empower is basically crafted to support the financially excluded part of the community. People who don't have access to the banks. People who cannot walk far to go to a banking hall to get banking services. So Empower we decided to work with a bank and open what we call virtual accounts. So this enables anyone, anywhere, as long as you have a mobile phone, you are registered with M-Pesa, you can own a bank account. You can do your savings, you can get loans. And these are very basic loans, they're unsecured loans that we're offering, and you're getting them at a very, very low interest rate. No one is offering that at the moment. And to support more on what is next on financial inclusion, we've noticed a lot of people in the areas, they're coming up with the small bits. We call them Vikoba, Chama, whatever name they give it to. But these are the small savings groups that people come about with to give themselves lendings. And with M-Pesa, we are trying to now digitize that channel. get people and tell them, now do your savings remotely, have it at a good interest rate, and then disburse the money at ease and let people work on a cashless basis on that.
Thank you very much. May I call upon Patrick from Zantel? Patrick, please, on the stage. Patrick, please tell us quickly who you are, what your organization is, and how you see financial inclusion going forward.
My name is Patrick Idumulinyi. I work with Zantel for Easy Pesa. I'm a senior specialist on MFS actually, doing the product development support on all the integrations at Zantel. Anyway, what we have tried for the past since we launched Easy Pesa, because before it was Z Pesa as Innocent said, we tried to develop services which can touch these users, which not only that can have this Empower service but at least they can transact. We have base in Zanzibar, whereby only few services compared to mainland. So we tried at least to develop some products only that can focus in Zanzibar. Let's say maybe for Tukuza. Tukuza is look this side. They did not have such services that side. It was only cash in, cash out, and P2P. So we introduced the Tukuza, which is a utility bill payment. And of course, with the added part, we introduced the interoperability just last year, I think. We have Tigo. Of course, we started with Tigo first, as for now. So that one increased the liquidity and cash to these guys in Zanzibar to be in financial inclusion, of course.
Thank you very much, Patrick. I'd like to have you sit this side. You guys are competitors. Don't start throwing words. I would like to call upon Daniel Mhina from FSDT.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As Innocent mentioned, I work with him at FSDT. Just to add on what he mentioned, FSDT has 4 themes. So we look at the market. We've divided the market into 4 themes. We have agriculture, we have microinsurance, SME, and digital finance. So for digital finance, basically we just look at how do we drive financial inclusion through digital means. We've come to realize that mobile is basically a key driver towards digitizing the market. So that's what we really aspire. But on top of that, we look at innovative solutions in the market to really see how they really try to improve the livelihoods of the poor through digital means. I think my view on the financial inclusion, thanks to our colleagues from the telecoms, they've built the infrastructure in terms of the payment. So we have built the flow of money from one point to another. My view, I think we need to go an extra mile and say, how do we digitize money, which is the last mile? Because what is happening now is, if you want to send money, I take my cash, change it to e-money, send to a person to the other end. What they do, they cash out. So how do you ensure that that money remains in the flow? So how do you start digitizing the money from the first point to the last, not just the payment? Not just the payment, meaning converting it to e-money and then just moving it around in the flow. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I think you should sit there. Today, what people do, they convert money into electronic just to transfer it. And then that money actually ends up into cash, right? And how many have got a debit card? Yes? Come on. You pay with credit card and debit card because that's where your money is. Not because you're intelligent, because that's where your money is. I pay with cash because that's where my money is. So what Daniel says is, if you want people to start using that wallet, if you want them to use it electronically, you need to digitize money. Don't waste your time trying to digitize payment. If you allow Tanzanians have their money in electronic form, either an M-Pesa wallet or Easy Pesa wallet or any other wallet or a bank wallet, you need to make sure that they have that money in that wallet. The reason why you're paying with your credit card is because your money is in your bank account, and that's a way for you to pay. If you think about it, for a poor guy like me, who's paid just so much to feed my family, if you take 2% out of that, I don't have extra money to do any other thing. So I'll default back to my cash wallet. And that's why in Tanzania, and probably only Tanzania, we call them ATM card. Why? Because that's all that they do. You pay me today, next day I'll go to an ATM and cash out my money, put it into my wallet, and use it for payment. So Daniel tells us that what they're trying to do at FSDT is to try digitize that money so that people can start using electronic wallet to pay, start using electronic means to do their transactions. I'll take a pause there, and I'll turn this session back to the audience for you to shoot questions. Unfortunately, I don't have ladies. Please don't have that session after this. Who? Madeje, please. Please. And Madeje will talk to us about what she's doing in Bits and Bytes. I'll spare Madeje to just get used to this shock, and then we will ask her to talk. So I'll take the session back to you guys. If you've got a question, I'll be on the stage, the mic, and the panelists will answer. Who is the brave one?
So my name is Brian from Studio 19. And I think you pointed out very well that most people actually don't really keep their money in their wallets because it's just too expensive to transact. Like, it's actually much easier for me to transact over cash. I get charged way less than if I actually use M-Pesa or, I don't know, Easy Money. But, I think you guys, you know this problem. Why aren't you working on it?
Wow. Should we take a second question before we answer that? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Andrew Mahiga from Nisha Limited. We've been talking a lot about financial inclusion, but I also wanted to ask, maybe this goes to FSDT, about financial literacy, because a lot of Tanzanians don't even know simple financial terms. So if you're talking to them about, you can have a savings and you can get loans in your phone, most people still look at you like, what's a savings? What's interest rate? So what is FSDT doing, or maybe even the telecoms, to educate people basic stuff about finance and money and what it means?
I think that goes to Daniel. Can I allow you guys to respond to those two questions? Why are you not doing it? And what are you guys doing at FSDT to solve this financial literacy thing? Can we go with the first question first?
All right, I think I'll take that. As we all know, commercially, somewhere, somehow, we are all charged. Either you put the money in a bank and withdraw it and use it as cash, you're paying a certain fee. And by the business acumen itself, we are going to have to charge at some point. Now, looking at the economy of Tanzania, or the business nature of Tanzania, it has become a bit difficult to charge merchants or to charge the business. So at some point, we charge the customer when we digitize the money, because that whole value chain gets paid somewhere. From the agent who is doing the cash in or cash out for you, gets to be paid commission because he's doing an investment of his own money to just deal with digital financing. FSDT are coming in to support on that kind of channel and trying to see now, when you're digitizing money, what happens? Do we need to allow people to always pay per transaction, or where do they take the money? So as Daniel said, what we are looking at to put, to include everyone in that financial sector is, we don't want you to cash out. Just get your money in and then keep paying for it. And that's how cheaper it becomes. So you find a merchant, pay by M-Pesa, or pay by any e-money that is available, but don't cash it out. So to complete the whole channel, the whole business, or we need to include merchants in this financial sector, we need to include a lot of business in this chain, so that when Daniel digitizes the money, then it just stays in that same chain. Thank you.
Perhaps I can add, and I think it's a question I want to pose to the techies, because why is transactions becoming expensive? It's because if you look at the number of points transaction moves, at every point there's a commission. So I challenge the techies, how can you come with solutions to really cut down these layers and say, why can't you connect directly to Vodacom and cut down the third parties that come in? Because that will reduce the price to the ultimate user. For question number 2, I agree, and I think it's a huge problem, but it's a journey. So what FSTT did, we started with financial capability research, because we couldn't start addressing the problem of education without even knowing how bigger the problem is. So we did the financial capabilities, and the research is out. You can go to our website. Just to give you a sniff of the situation is 50% of the population don't know how to multiply or divide. That's the sad situation of our country. And I think adding to what Innocent was saying, so when financial companies come with communication saying your interest rate is 50%, if this person doesn't know how to multiply or divide, how can they calculate the interest rate? So these are the bigger problems. And we are starting to address that, and we've engaged the central bank. And basically, we've formed Financial Education Secretariat, and there are a lot of initiatives that will be coming up very soon. This secretariat, we've elevated this issue to a country level, and there are a lot of initiatives that will be coming up very soon. But the biggest one as well, which people were actually leaving behind, is consumer protection. So we are elevating consumer protection to really, for the consumers who are actually using these financial products, to really understand what are they getting into. Because you find majority of these financial institutions now, they are not actually doing financial education, they're doing marketing. So how do you address these issues to ensure? So it's a bigger problem, but we're addressing it one step after another.
Up here, might as well give a point. Just to add on to what Polycarp has said, recently working on a research project, and in terms of merchants, it's a solar home system. And what they're basically doing is they have about 420,000 Tanzanian customers in rural and urban areas, whereby they're actually paying for their solar home systems using mobile money. So, this is coming up to the second point, whereby digitization, that they can continue to have energy through a digital platform in terms of money, financial inclusion.
I think to add also, it's not that expensive actually when you are doing payment on mobile finance. What we always discourage is it's not discourage, where we make money from the customer is when he's going to cash out. Because as Polycarp said, we have to incentivize the channel, the distribution channel. That's why we have to charge this customer. But if you are paying for solar, for instance, we are not charging, actually we're charging exactly the amount that you're supposed to be paid to solar guys. But what we'll do, we'll come and negotiate with the solar guys, and then we just do the revenue share, which the customer cannot feel anything. So it's not that expensive. What you need to do is just deposit your money into your EasyPass account, and then transact. Don't cash out. Anyway, you can cash out because it's a revenue to us. But if you are thinking making payment via mobile finance is expensive, no.
Perfect. So I'll take a couple of more questions.
I have a question about your small loans that you're offering, particularly for the gentleman from Vodacom. Have you guys worked with any businesses working in last mile distribution to help facilitate end user financing of their products? And have you had any success with that? If so, I think if you associate a product with a potential small loan, it can bridge these financial literacy gaps, as there's a way to associate value with that product. So I'm just wondering if you explored that avenue at all.
Go.
Very much. We have not really worked with any company. So what we did is we partner with banks. So we look at what are the banks supporting, what are the channels are supporting. Now looking at the cost of building infrastructure around the rural areas, we do work now with banks in trying to see what products they have and how best mobile money or M-Pesa can come into play in terms of supporting them issuing those loans and giving that access to that fund easily to the people in the villages, because not all can meet the basic KYC, the requirements that the bank need for them to open a bank account, for them to get a loan. But if they do get the KYC, the basic KYC we get on a mobile phone registration, it allows the banks to offer microloans to the communities, and they tailor them according to the societies or to the products they're supporting. We've got, we're looking at an initiative with TechnoServe down south and trying to see how to best educate people in terms of doing the savings with Empower and to get loans. We are scoping a different number of projects with different organizations on how to support, especially the farmers in the end, how to get microloans, how to do their savings, and how to get loans on products that they require to facilitate and pay back using M-Pesa.
My question is on security. You know, just yesterday, I was paying some participant we were doing training, a workshop, and we had to pay participant, more than 100 participant via mobile money. So we used Cellcom and they went to pay to all the participant. Unfortunately, our accountant got it wrong to 2 numbers, and the money went to the person who is not intended. It was possible to recover one money from one person, and the good it was Vodacom. We just phoned Vodacom and they limited that money to go out. But the other mobile operator, it was not possible. They told us that because that person transferred the money to another person, and another person also transferred the money to another person, and that one transferred to another person, and the fifth or the fourth person removed it. So they are not able to recover it. So my question is on security. I know FSDT you are somehow related with this thing, regulating the policy and do. So what are the future that people can gain confidence that they're all safe? Dealing with money is like banking, that no matter what, you may at the end of the point you'll be able to recover, to know that who that person and how you can get the money back. Thank you.
The question is, most people use credit cards because of the places that they go to, like a supermarket and such places. But for normal Tanzanians, when you look at our community, a Tanzanian community, we normally use cash because of the places that we go, the things that we buy. We go to Kariakoo. So you want to digitize money. So how are you going to do it? Because when you go to Kariakoo, to the point of sales at Kariakoo, they don't have these devices that support credit card payments. So how are you going to support that? How are you going to convince those people to use such devices? And how are you going to support this system of digitizing money to support the local community, the people that don't know about credit card payments? How are you going to do that?
So let me start with a question on, and I'll stick, I think, the solution on the consumer protection, which I mentioned. So the problem is we haven't elevated consumer protection to the level it requires, because your biggest problem, what you mentioned, is basically is just the understanding. So one is how whoever wants to start or procure a service of from financial institution, do they know what they're getting into? Did they actually agree to the terms and conditions? Because that's where the biggest problem starts. The issue about if there's a complaint or there's an issue, let's say, of what you mentioned, how is the issue being escalated within an institution? But as well, if you're not happy, how is it being taken to the regulators? So all of those are just the infrastructure and the framework. And just to make a point, we are not players as FSDT. We are facilitators. So our role is to ensure the government, the financial service providers have the right tools, the right frameworks, the right environment, policies and procedures to ensure that the end user actually benefits from using the financial system. So our job is to drive. That's why we came to realize that consumer protection is really a key to really drive all these concerns that the players have.
Thank you, Daniel. Polycarp.
Thank you very much. I think security is a key feature to any application, and as M-Pesa, security is key. It's part of the regulation that we have. And to us, at the moment, for you to access an account in M-Pesa, you have to use your own SIM card, your own number. And at the moment, we don't have any mobile applications, so we're using a standard USSD feature, which we know it's secure, and the only way you can move money in and out of that account is through your PIN number. So the fortunate part is that the PIN number is your secret. We emphasize, we educate that PIN yako, siri yako, your PIN number is yours. But we get once in a while tendency of where people give out or they share out their PIN numbers to people and fraudulent activities happen. So those are just part of the human errors. But security-wise, as per the application, you can only move money within M-Pesa using a secure PIN number, and that is only for you.
Thank you, Polycarp. I'm going to answer that question, but before I do that, I'll pass it to him and her.
Well, of course, it's a part of innovations. Of course, Innocent has told us about innovations as well. We are planning to have more products that will touch these users, end users, which by this case is customers, whereby immediately once they deposit, they can circulate the same amount, the same cash within the same ecosystem. Led there said that if you go to Kariako, there's no pay point of sales for MFS. That is what we are looking into. And I think Boone is here, Jumanne. Whatever that space is doing there, it's better if you can start maybe thinking also, helping us also, because the merchant part, at the end of the day, we're not going to run this one. It's aggregators who are going to run on behalf, but we'll also support them. So I think it's on open for all developers to come up with the product we support that way.
Thank you very much. 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Future of financial inclusion.
Future of financial inclusion. What next? Great things are coming up from NFC. Features whereby you get to tap with your phones and actually pay. So through your, your e-money, to the rise of wakalas, to merchants actually, more merchants being available on your payments when you go to your M-Pesa or your Airtel Money, so you can easily do Easy Pesa. You can easily do all your payments. Easing entrepreneurs, innovators coming up with different platforms whereby the Vicobas can actually be much more digitized. So hopeful, amazing stuff.
Thank you very much. So back to your question, FSDT, we believe that cash is king. Mobile is growing, and cards distribution or POS is limited. So we know that. We go back to providers and we say, this is the situation. We know that cash is king and cash has got a lot of issues around it. We know that mobile is growing, but you guys need to give us solutions that allows customers to pay with mobile, because you cannot expect the business models for send money to be used to buy products, because every time money moves from one wallet to another, these guys think that they should make money. But when I give money to the merchant, I'm not actually sending money, I'm actually buying a product. So they need to change their business models. We're working towards doing that. The distribution of card infrastructure in Tanzania is poor. And if you think about it, the affluent guys are the guys who have the card reader machines. You can't get those in Kariako and Gongo Lamboto and Kwamtogole, where I normally drink. But we need to give them a solution that will enable them to start participating. Whether they start participating on cash or mobile money or move into card, but there's a solution that is needed for them to start doing that. And I'll give you a number of examples. If I pay with cash, if you can record that transaction and enhance my credit ratings so that I can go and have a loan from a bank, that actually brings me into the financial services space. And if we start doing that, we will actually start moving the needle towards the great financial inclusion we're looking forward to. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.